我们现在在西方国家所看到的所有的政治危机，事实上你都可以简化成2个字，叫做贫穷。而这个贫穷在西方国家里头的出现，是从2008年金融海啸越演越烈。而相对的贫穷之外，这些国家呢，他们到底是过去的已开发国家，所以他们有一群人非常的富有，透过投资，他们累积的越来越高。所以这些国家几乎都是1% toward 99%，1%对99%的状况。美国如此，其实瑞典这种过去被认为是幸福国家、社会福利的国家，几乎也不例外。它的贫穷也因为资本主义的危机，2008年金融海啸之后越演越烈，这使得原来瑞典就有的帮派越来越猖獗。年轻人 lost generation， 当时呢，我曾经在《文茜的世界周报》那个时候欧债危机的时候，我们做了非常多的题目。那个时候呢，欧盟理事会的主席叫容科，他就说，未来这些年轻人会成为失落的一代，因为等到经济复苏的时候，很可能需要15年，最短要10年，至少大概要10年到15年左右。2008年到现在就真的过了15年，经济还没有复苏，很可能20年才可能复苏，或是这些复苏也跟这些 lost generation 没有关系。当时容科说，即使是10年的话，那个时候人们要的是更年轻的工作人员，而他们已经太老了，所以他们将会永久的变成找不到自己人生的方向，所以他称之为叫 lost generation， 就是失落的一代。这个情况在最幸福的国家瑞典，它就出现了。这些失落的一代就成了跟黑帮关系很深的人，而且毒品就很泛滥，因为这黑帮是靠毒品来赚钱。他们有的卖毒品，有的广泛的青少年的吸毒，同时拥有非法枪支。瑞典的帮派化完全改变了人们对这个幸福国度的看法。
30 or 40 years ago, I remember ABC presenters like Terry Lane, people of the left, of course, saying, Sweden, we got to admire it. It was a socialist sort of paradise, left wing, it was wonderful, social welfare, especially just looking at a headline now. Why did socialism work in Sweden? It was heaven. And then came ABBA, of course. Sweden, it was still beautiful, even more beautiful women, everything as tidy and practical as IKEA. And then bang.
Teenagers shot dead in the woods. Gang warfare has reached such dangerous levels in Sweden, the government has called on the army for help.
More and more children and innocent bystanders are falling victim. I cannot overemphasize the seriousness of the situation.
But increasingly, children aren't just the victims, they're also the perpetrators. Gang members I met say even they are appalled.
When you're 10 years old, you can earn 10,000 euros in 1 month. 11, 12-year-old kids kill each other. People pay 100,000 for one murder, and it's a kid that does it.
Sweden is in the grip of a gun crime crisis. Many say deadly gang violence has turned the nation into a war zone. According to official government data, 4 in every million inhabitants die in shootings each year in Sweden, much higher than the European average of 1.6. In 2021, 45 people were killed by gunfire. In 2022, the number increased to 62 out of 391 shootings that year. Now, just over 60 dead does not sound like a big number. Sweden's homicidal rate is 1/6 of that in the US. But in the European context, this is a shockingly high number. Stockholm's gun murder rate is 30 times higher than London's.
Sweden has never seen anything like it. No other country in Europe is experiencing anything like this.
September has become the worst month for shooting deaths in Sweden since records began in 2016. After the deaths this week, the total stands at 11. Sweden's Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson is in a bind. So now he is seeking help from the army. He summoned the head of the armed forces.
We will hunt the gangs and we will defeat them. We will take them to court. If they are Swedish citizens, they will be locked up for a long time in prison. And if they are foreign citizens, they will also be expelled.
何以知之？世人眼中曾经的幸福国度瑞典，怎么会成为令人闻之丧胆的枪支谋杀之都？
Back in those glory days, back in 1974, ABBA came to prominence at the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo. That was their first hit. And it's kind of ironic because, you know, once Europe threw open its arms under Angela Merkel to you know, illegal immigrants from around the world, asylum seekers from around the world, Sweden certainly has gone on to meet its own Waterloo. And that is because of the failure to assimilate. And it all boils down to this.
过去数十年来，瑞典一直奉行自由的移民政策。目前，全国1050万居民中，约有20%出生于国外。其中，2015年欧洲难民危机期间，瑞典人均接收的移民人数超过了欧洲多国。2017年，更有18万名移民落脚瑞典。不过，不少移民因为难以适应以及融入瑞典的生活，就此聚众结为帮派，冲击着瑞典治安。资料显示，当地目前9成枪击事件的犯案人多为移民第一代与第二代。
Years ago, gangs used to be a small regional issue in Sweden, but now they have become a national plague. Why is that? There are a couple of reasons. Poor integration of immigrants, a widening gap between rich and poor, and drug use. But a bigger explanation, ironically, points to police action. A successful police operation, that too. In 2020, French police broke the codes of a criminal communications network. This enabled police all over Europe to track down criminals. Thousands of arrests were made. Over 400 criminals were arrested in Sweden, and sentences totaled over 1,500 years in prison. The leaders of Swedish gangs were cut off, but the result was unexpected. This left a power vacuum in the underworld. As a result, young gang members began vying for power. They began fighting for dominance in lucrative drug markets. Police say more and more children are contacting criminal gangs, offering to commit murders. Child gangsters are throwing hand grenades and blowing up bombs, trying to kill their rivals, while a growing number of bystanders become collateral damage.
More and more children and completely innocent people are affected by the serious violence. I cannot emphasize enough how serious the situation is.
警方表示，由于移民贩毒集团之间的血腥冲突，瑞典正面临自2次世界大战以来最严重的国内安全局势。粗估，全国约有3万人直接参与帮派犯罪或与之有联系，而加入帮派者也越来越低龄化，因为未满18岁的儿童犯罪往往不会受罚。
Darawi says the government should put more money into after-school programs as an alternative to the streets, where, she warns, the youth, feeling disconnected from Swedish society, are seeking out the gangs themselves. They see it glamorized in the media and rap culture, she tells me.
由于瑞典严格的劳动法规，缺乏专业技术的新移民很难找到工作。在移民高度集中的社区，失业率因此普遍偏高，这也导致许多青少年无心向学，而帮派为他们提供了归属感。
Il faut un changement, ni le gouvernement de l'extrême droite, ni n'importe quel gouvernement. Il peut ramener tous les étrangers, mais le problème est déjà là. La majorité de tous ces jeunes garçons, des suspects, sont nés ici en Suède. Et ici, c'est des Suédois, ils vont les renvoyer où?
2022年上任的中右翼政府承诺要加强移民政策，加倍处罚黑帮环境中的犯罪行为，扩大使用电子监控，并驱逐更多非瑞典公民的罪犯。但有更多瑞典人认为，要终结这种暴力现象，还是得回归耐心与爱心，而这正是像团结兄弟这样的民间团体正在做的。
Our generation is in a big trouble, would I say, because like we see 12, 13 years old boys are running drugs and doing this stuff, and we cannot change all of them, but we can do something.
Sometimes those things are small, but Al-Mali and his allies believe they're crucial for building cohesion and confidence.
I need to play cards with the kids. They're waiting for me. Yalla, 400.
He's determined to help these youth believe in themselves, that whatever cards they've been dealt, they can win.